Hey everyone, welcome. So glad you could join me today on this August 4th. Where's the summer gone, right? Ladies and gentlemen. Boom. Here we go. Truth seekers and truth dodgers. You know who you are. Welcome once again to Coffee and Nuance on a Friday, a Fact Check Friday. And you know, we've delved into the depths of honesty and delusion, exploring the fine line between being wrong and telling a good old-fashioned lie. George Costanza's timeless words still resonates. It's not a lie if you believe it. But let's take a detour to discuss a group of individuals who take this concept and twist it into something far more insidious. See, in a world where information's abundant, misinformation even more so, we're bombarded by voices that shape our perception of reality. Influencers, pundits, and self-proclaimed experts holding microphones that reach millions. And that power is not to be underestimated. We often find these influencers pointing fingers, shouting from their digital soapboxes, labeling anyone who disagrees with them as liars. And that, my friend, is where the plot thickens. Sure, being wrong is a common human trait, like forgetting where you parked. But when individuals with influence wield the accusation of liar like a weapon, they're not just missing the point, they're skewing the entire playing field. They're not innocent participants in this great game of misinformation. They're active contributors, pulling the strings of public opinion with a calculated mix of falsehood and fervor. When someone with a following cries liar without considering the nuanced difference between a purposeful fabrication and a genuine misstep, they're adding to the confusion. They're polluting the already muddied waters of truth and fantasy. In fact, one could argue they're the true architects of deception, manipulating the very essence of reality for their own gain. So the next time you hear a loud voice, a confident assertion that someone is a liar simply because they don't align with the rhetoric of the moment, take a step back. Consider the intentions behind those words. Are they truly seeking the light of truth, or are they stoking the flames of discord to further their own agenda? Are they adding to the understanding of reality, or are they masterfully weaving a narrative to maintain their own grip of power? George Costanza's quip may have tickled our heart, but in the real world, labeling someone a liar has consequences, especially when that label comes from those who hold sway over our collective consciousness. Remember, my friends, those who throw stones of deceit from their glass houses of influence, they're the ones we should be most wary of. In the quest for a clearer vision of reality, they might just be the ones leading us further astray while wearing the mask of righteousness. My name's Tom Coffee. This is the Coffee Nuance Show, the best censored commentary and news show live right now. Flame on. Oh yeah. I know I've talked about this topic even recently about the difference between a falsehood and a lie, and it all comes down to intent. But that's really what it is about. It's really what it's about. Oh, here we go. Boom. Here we go. The key here is that lies are intentional. Okay, so let's just take a look here. This is a Collins dictionary, but you can go to any dictionary. They're all very similar. Things that are not true. Lies, plural, third person, singular, present tense. Lying, present participle. Lied, past tense, past participle. Okay, Countable noun. A lie is something that someone says or writes which they know is untrue. They know that it is untrue. Okay? If someone is lying, they're saying something which they know is not true. That's it. That's what a lie is. And so with this in mind, let's take a look, because this really concerns Trump's indictment. And I got to tell you, here's the thing, right? Anytime you talk about Trump, about 30% of Americans just lose their mind. They can't even think right. Trump derangement syndrome, it's been called. But there's really something there. There really is. In fact, that's one of the reasons I kind of wish he would go away. I mean, I would prefer just about anybody to Biden, okay? I think Trump served an important purpose when he was president, but I think we can get somebody else. That's just my opinion. Just mainly because so many millions of people have lost their mind about this guy that it just makes life really difficult. You know, you can't even talk about this guy because people are so emotional about him. So, but we got to talk about it because he's been indicted again. So let's take a look at this fact check from Daniel Dale. That is CNN's chief fact checker. Oh, by the way, stick around, everyone. In the after show, I will be going through all your comments on Rumble, all your comments on YouTube. And so that'll be a lot of fun. And I do appreciate everyone hitting that like button. Thanks for hitting that like button. Lets me know you're not a bot. You're a real sentient human being with your own thoughts and opinions. And you love this show. And that's why you're hitting the thumbs up button. So cheers to that. But let's check out Daniel Dale, the chief fact checker over on CNN. So here we are. Now, for whatever reason, I wasn't able. It's just going to be playing out of the computer, but I think you'll hear it just fine. So here we go.
I've counted up the lies that prosecutors say they've caught Trump in. What's the tally?
I counted 21 listed in that 45-page indictment. I think if you counted slightly differently, there's some subjectivity here. You could go as low as 18 or as high as maybe 25, but I made a list of 21.
Okay, take us through them.
Okay, here we go. Lie number 1 is Trump's overarching election lie, that he was the real winner of a stolen election, that fraud changed the outcome. The indictment says numerous Trump officials, Trump himself appointed, had told him this narrative was baseless, groundless, false, but that he kept deploying it anyway. Lie number 2.
So right there, this is how this whole thing is going, this entire indictment. And to be clear, right, when we look here on CNN, they're saying lies. Lies are right there in the chyron. We're talking about lies. And when I'll show you the fact check on CNN, they use it in the headline as well. So they are saying that this is a lie. Okay? But what Daniel Dale is saying here is that the overarching theme is Trump knew that he lost because other people told him that he lost. Well, just because somebody tells you something, if somebody, let's say someone tells you the truth and you don't believe them and you continue to state your opinion, you're not lying. You're just wrong. There's a big difference between lying and being wrong. And you would think, right? You would think the chief fact checker at CNN would know the difference. But here's how he explains it. He says, the reason that we know that Trump was lying is because people in his camp told him that he didn't win. So if you tell somebody something, they don't believe you, and they state their opinion, suddenly that's a lie? Is that how it works in America now? Is that how it works on CNN? Is this their logic? This is not logical whatsoever. We have words so that we can understand the world around us. The word lie, right? The word lie is something that someone says or writes that they know is untrue. They know that it's untrue. And in this case here, Daniel Dale is saying the opposite. Essentially, what he's saying is Trump should have known that it was a lie, so therefore it's a lie. That's not how language works, okay? It's not how language works. That's this entire thing is that people told him, no, dude, you didn't win. And he's insisting, no, I think that I think I won. And they're like, no, dude, you lost. He's like, no, I think I won. If he says that he won in that case, that's not a lie. That's what he believes. Okay? Huge difference between being wrong and lying. And I think the bigger problem is these people, such as CNN's main fact checker, Daniel Dale, their chief fact checker, saying that this is a lie. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I'll play a couple more here. But it's all the same. All of this is the same. Every single one in this entire list, they're saying Trump should have known. Trump was wrong. He said these things. And the reason that we can get into his head, the reason that we can read his mind, not because of what he actually says, but he was told that. Give me a break.
Is the lie that fake pro-Trump electors in states won by Biden were real electors? They obviously were not. Lies number 3 and 4, I thought were two remarkable lies related to Trump's pressure on the Justice Department. Number 3, Trump allegedly tried to get DOJ to give a government stamp of approval to his lies by sending an official letter to key states saying DOJ had identified major concerns with the election, though, of course, it had not. Number 4, Trump allegedly urged top DOJ officials to falsely, quote, just say the election was corrupt and leave the rest to me and the Republican congressman. Lie number 5 is that Vice President Pence had the power to reject Biden electoral votes on January 6, 2021. Pence and White House lawyers had repeatedly told Trump that Pence did not, that this would be illegal, unconstitutional, but Trump still kept declaring that Pence did have that power.
Okay, so here's another example. This is lie number 5, right? Lie number 5 is that Trump saying that Pence had the ability to do something, stop this or change whatever. And the justification on why this is a lie, not just a mistake, not just being wrong, why this is a lie, is that some White House lawyers told him that that wasn't the case, right? Well, guess what? Trump had other lawyers that told him that it was the case. And Daniel Dale has conveniently left that part out of his fact check. Okay? So at this point, you're saying that Trump is lying because he said this thing about what Mike Pence had the power to do. But to show that it's a lie, you would have to show that Trump knew that that was not true and that he believed it and he was saying the opposite. There's no evidence that Trump did not believe what he was saying. Okay? There's no evidence that he didn't believe what he was saying. So therefore, it's not a lie. By definition, unless you can somehow get inside his head and know what he was thinking, or maybe have like videotape of him chuckling beforehand saying, hey, I know that this is totally not true, but I'm just going to get on TV, I'm going to get behind a microphone and I'm going to lie to the American people. Now, unless you have something like that, this is all mind reading. This is all mind reading. And that's the real problem, is that this phony fact check of 21 lies by Daniel Dale, they're all mind reading. And none of them fit the definition of a lie, at least according to this definition here that I've given you, which is something someone says or writes that they know to be untrue. Yeah. So, I don't know. What do you think about this? Again, the problem is we're talking about Trump, and about a third of the country loses their mind around this guy, and they can't even talk about him because they're so emotional, they're so irrational on this topic. Okay? But unless you can read his mind, you don't know if he's lying. Yeah. That's the truth. That's the fact check. Now, let's get to a couple other stories that we have today. But I would like to know your opinion on this one. I guarantee you there are people watching this video, perhaps in my family, that will totally disagree with me on my fact check. But that's just the way it is. That's okay. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about RFK Jr. So, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is suing YouTube and Google, accusing them of being state actors. In other news, my YouTube feed today had a YouTube tutorial on how to deliver a monologue like a government puppet. That was just for me, I guess. Anyway, RFK Jr. filed a lawsuit against YouTube and Google, accusing them of censoring his anti-vaccine interviews and considering them state actors. In the complaint filed in California, he alleges the tech giants bowed to pressure from the federal government and President Joe Biden to silence him. Kennedy's lawyers claim that his information about COVID vaccines was censored through various means. The lawsuit argues that YouTube violated his First Amendment rights by engaging in viewpoint discrimination. I should probably get in on this suit. Kennedy's anti-vaccine activities have led to clashes with content moderation policies on other digital platforms as well. Despite being a political candidate, YouTube allegedly treated him no differently. Previously, Kennedy filed a class action lawsuit against Biden and the feds for trying to induce Facebook, Twitter, and Google to censor constitutionally protected speech. Yeah. First Amendment, however, doesn't apply to private companies like Alphabet. That's the parent company to YouTube and Google. Yeah, is what it is. What do you think about that? Yeah. It's funny. I think anything I say on this is just going to get my channel buried even more than it already is. Anyway, I'm glad because hopefully this will bring to light. This will be more transparency in what the social media platforms are doing to kind of shape the narrative. They're shaping the world that we see, and a lot of times they're doing this from the direction of the government. So, yeah, I look forward to following the story and seeing what happens. Next, we got another story about language. Now, perhaps the stream is screwing up a little. So stick around. I hope you're there. Hope you're there. We got lots of people over there on Rumble, so at least I know it's working there. Good. 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 All right. You know, folks, I'm reading about Chicago's new mayor taking issue with a reporter using the term mob action to describe a group of rowdy teenagers trashing a 7-Eleven. Mayor Brandon Johnson said, "We're not talking about mob actions. Yeah, apparently they prefer to call it shoplifting palooza with a touch of convenience store chaos. But seriously, it's all about the power of words, right? So next time you see a gang of teenagers running wild, just remember it's not a mob. It's a spontaneous retail therapy flash mob." Here's the story. Chicago's new mayor, Brandon Johnson, objected to a reporter's use of the phrase mob action to describe a group of 400 teenagers who caused chaos at a 7-Eleven store in the South Loop. The incident, involving looting and vandalism, resulting in the arrest of over 40 individuals aged 12 to 20. Mayor Johnson disagreed with the terminology, emphasizing the need to be careful with language when describing such behavior. The situation has raised concern about the large gathering of young people in the city. The mayor mentioned ongoing efforts to address the issues with community groups. The incident comes amid a significant increase in overall crime in Chicago compared to the previous years. Well, that's what we have, right? Don't call it a mob. Oh, 400 crazy teens just destroying a 7-Eleven, throwing crap everywhere, wrecking the place, not listening to the cops, telling them to leave. That's not a mob. That's not mob action. No. It's important that we don't call it a mob action. It's important that we focus on the words that we use around these fragile souls than it is their behavior. That's the mayor. That's the mayor. A lot of people say, these cities, they get what they voted for, right? Serves them right. They voted for this mayor. Serves them right that they have all the chaos. And I kind of feel the opposite. I feel really bad for the people of Chicago to have such an awful mayor, to have such a guy with such displaced priorities, that he's obsessed about calling this obvious mob a mob, not to call it a mob, because you may hurt their feelings or whatever. Like these teens are watching press conferences. Anyway, give me a break. But I hear this about my own city as well, right? We voted for these guys. We voted for this DA that we have that's letting everybody out. We voted for this mayor that's allowing all this chaos in our city. So I guess we deserve it. And it's like, maybe some people deserve it. The whole city doesn't deserve it. I feel bad for the people that have to live under terrible, terrible leadership, even if they voted for it. I still have empathy for them. I would love to see Chicago turn around. Although, if you keep voting in the same type of person with the same policies that have made the city a wreck, it's probably not going to happen. In the same way, Portland, for it to turn around, I think we're going to have somebody different. I think we're going to have somebody different with different priorities. I don't know if that will happen or not. But I feel bad for Chicago. I feel bad for the city of Portland that we have to live under this leadership. Maybe we deserve it, but I don't care for it. But I finally do have some good news. I do have some good news, everyone. And it's actually coming from Google. So yeah, Google, it's like that nosy neighbor who not only watches you through their window, but also offers to tidy up your house. Hey, I noticed you left some personal info lying around on the internet. Want me to sweep that up for you? Here's the story. Google has expanded its Results About You tool to enhance user privacy and safety. Originally, the tool allowed users to remove personal information from Google search, such as phone numbers and addresses. Now it automatically monitors and alerts users about new personal information that appears online, making it easier to remove. The service is currently available in the United States and in English, with plans to expand to other regions and languages in the near future. Google's introducing a revamped dashboard to manage and eliminate personal information from search more conveniently. Additionally, the company is implementing a safe search feature that blurs graphic or adult content by default, providing users with a safer search experience. Furthermore, Google's updating its policy regarding explicit images, making it easier for individuals to remove such content from search. However, removing search results doesn't delete the content from the internet entirely. Despite this limitation, the new developments are seen as significant steps towards safeguarding users' privacy and enhancing their search experience. So I think this is really good news. When I started my channel, I wanted to make sure that I was not showing up in Google searches. And there's all these companies now that put out your home address, and mainly because I live in Portland, I was going to talk about politics. You talk about politics, people are kind of nuts, right? So I wanted to make sure that my home address and everything wasn't listed in Google. And it was really hard back then, 5-6 years ago, to get all of that stuff removed from Google. You had all these, white pages and different people search things that you had to contact, tell them to remove you from the search. And I did that. I removed me. I removed a couple people in my family because I just didn't want any issue, right? I didn't want to have an issue. Now, I wasn't expecting that after all these years, I'd be seen by a dozen people live. Kind of thought I'd be bigger by now. And if you're streaming to 100,000 people or something like that, there's some nuts out there. And I didn't want them to be able to find me. And it was really hard to do back then. But now, with this new Google feature, and I looked at it, I checked it out. It made it a lot easier to remove yourself from searches. So you can search yourself on Google, put yourself in quotes, put your city name, things like that. And when results come up that you don't want to be in Google, you just click it and say, please remove this. So again, it doesn't remove it entirely from the net, but it removes it from the search. And that's going to be a lot better, right? That's going to be a lot better. So anyway, if you are concerned about your privacy, and you should be, and you want to remove yourself from the web, or at least, where you live and things like that, there are tools to do it, and it's now become easier than ever. So that's something you may explore. I think that that's some good news. I do like the idea that you can set it up so you get an alert if a web page starts showing your information in the future, and then you can quickly have that removed from search. So that's good news. That's real good news. And if you're interested more, ask me if you want to know more information about how to remove yourself, because I can do that. I can talk further on that someday about all the different steps you can go through to get yourself removed from the web. I think now, if you try to find me, I think like my Facebook profile, I don't even use Facebook really. I haven't logged in a couple years, but I think you can find me on Facebook, and then it's set to private, so you can see, oh, he's in Portland or whatever. But for the most part, I was able to remove myself from the Google search, and for my own safety, and I think that's a good thing. Anyway, hope you all have a beautiful day. Stick around for the after show. I'm going to go through all your comments, and have a beautiful weekend. Go do something awesome. Peace. Well, well, well. Thanks for sticking around, everyone. Here we are. Wow. Looks like it's empty over there on Google. How about on YouTube? It's interesting, you know, when the title of the video says RFK Jr. versus YouTube, and then I get the least number of people watching me live, I don't know, all summer? On a Friday, which is usually my most popular day of the week? Kind of makes you wonder. Of course, I don't have any evidence of anything, but it does make you wonder. It really makes you wonder. Perhaps I should not put YouTube in the title of my video. Because in doing so, because it looked like it was critical of YouTube, in doing so, I have the least amount of viewers watching live on YouTube that I can remember. Okay, so interesting stuff. Anyway, Duggo hit me up with a $5. Hashtag Fact Check Friday. Love it. Appreciate it. Maddening Spirit. They seem to understand the difference between being wrong and lying for all kinds of people like Fauci, Schumer, and Garland. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I think it's so dangerous that people with a big audience, that's why it's so important to see what people with a big audience say. And if they're saying that something is a lie, they're the liars. If it's not a lie, right? They're the real problems. They're the real liars. Duggo says, it's also not a lie if it's true. Duggo says 2020 election was stolen. Biden is not the legitimate president. That is Duggo's opinion on Rumble. Don't know if you could actually type that opinion on YouTube. It might be automatically deleted. Not sure about that. Have to try that out. Yeah, but the thing, yeah, it's not a lie unless you, yeah, let's see. It's not a lie if it's true. You know, yeah. In this case, we don't have enough evidence to make the assertion that the last election could have been changed. But, you know, but if you believe that and you say what you believe, then that's not a lie. If you believe it, it's not a lie. That's the whole point of the video. That's the whole monologue. When someone never steps on a crack in the sidewalk, you can be sure of only one thing. They see the cracks in the sidewalk. On the Google privacy news, I'd feel encouraged if I had any faith left in the corporation. Now I just think it's a ploy to get people to out themselves by claiming their identity information. That is conspiratorial thinking. That also may be true. But Google knows who you are. They don't need you to log in and verify that you are who you are. They know who you are. You have their phone, you have your phone that they have access to that you walk around all day. They know where you live. They know who your contacts are. They know this. So, and here's something also just to consider. And You know, your friends can also out you to these tech companies. Say I were to just have a burner phone, right? I have a burner phone. I bought it with cash. I don't even use it at my house. I only use it when I'm at various spots in the city. Okay? So nobody knows who's on this phone. Well, if I text my friend Danny, right? And I just put him in the phone as Buddy X or something like that, right? If Danny turns around and puts in the contact in his phone, right? He's got his phone, he puts in, Tom Coffey's burner phone, right? And associates it with that number. Now they know. Now they know. My friend is outed my secret burner phone. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. Of all the things to be concerned about your privacy, Google knows who you are. There's a ton of evidence. It just wasn't allowed to be shown in court. So people are going around and saying they never presented evidence. Look around. It's all out there. Yeah, So that's the thing about the election. That's one of the things that you're not allowed to actually talk about. I think technically on YouTube, I think you can call into question it now. I did receive notice from YouTube after the election that my channel would be deleted if I talked about it, if I implied that it was fraudulent. Okay. So that's kind of one of the restrictions that you're under in certain platforms. And again, a belief is not the same thing as a lie, right? So I can believe that the election may not have been on the up and up. I don't think I could present enough evidence to prove it, to prove that there was a different outcome. I don't think I could. Now, I think there could be enough evidence that was presented to question it, but I think as of right now, I don't think there's enough to prove that the outcome would be different. Perhaps. And the thing is, with a lot of it, we're never going to know anyway. You know, we can't just like turn on God mode and know the actual outcome of everything. Like we don't have that capability, right? So I will say though that if you're a Republican and you feel that the last election was sketchy, and then you're doing absolutely nothing to change how the voting procedure works, then it seems like you don't really care if it's sketchy or not, right? These politicians that talk about it, I don't see them clamoring for paper ballots that don't go into a machine, that are hand counted, right? That's what I would be clamoring for. If I really cared, well, I do. I really do care about election integrity. But, you know, there's not much I can do about it. But if you are a politician and you're saying all of this, well, what the hell are you doing to change things? What are you doing to make it more transparent? You got to actually do something, right? You want to push for laws, push for new procedures so that maybe there's oversight, maybe there's transparency, maybe we got paper ballots that are hand marked. And if you're not actively advocating for that, I don't really want to hear it. So anyway, let's check out what's happening over there on the YouTube. Lots of people checking in. Natasha coming in. I think a lot of people suffer from "that's my story and I'm sticking to it" syndrome. Probably falls in the category of pride. Natasha says can't hear. I'm not sure what was going on there. Tom, I thought you weren't going to talk about politics anymore. Oh, I said I was going to talk less about it, and then it's a fact check. What am I going to do? Chiron, thank you for alerting me to the messed up Chiron. I need to get that, I need to work on my procedures so I can put together a better show. And I believe it's CHYRON is how we spell that word. Tom, I live in Silicon Valley, and it's worse here than most people can imagine. I know how bad it is, but I'm with you there, and yeah. I'd love to hear some stories, Hairway. I'd love to hear some stories about that, because I'm sure you do have some good insight there. Large gathering of delinquents. Kind of sounds like basket of deplorables, only not as classy. That's true. Stephen, you got a tent city and all the fun that goes with it. Now video's choppy, now buffering. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened with the stream today. I'll check it. I'll see if we can fix it. I'll see if we can fix it for Monday. I did make some adjustments to it today, and obviously those adjustments made it worse, so I will adjust it back. Lucid, it's always boring without you.